Welcome to the Fantasy Cast podcast, where three grown men pass the time by sharing their deepest, darkest fantasies. Here we go.
What's up, Mike?
Not much. Just trucking along and having a good time.
Nice.
You know how you were talking last week about, or last time about Dr. Phil Chong?
Yeah, I've been chawing a lot since that's happened.
I noticed something else the other day in the car. I was at a stoplight, a pretty long stoplight, and I looked next to me, and there's a guy in an Uber, and he was holding his phone in front of his face like this, and he had this like open mouth grin like this for probably the entire time that we were stopped. He was just staring at his phone, and something was tickling him so much that he just like slack-jawed grin without changing his expression once. And it must have been like, it felt like 5 minutes, but it must have been like a minute.
Do you ever catch yourself laughing genuinely, and then you're like, I gotta snag this face, take a picture of it?
No, I gotta do that.
You got to.
What is chawing?
Chong's like, it's just like playing with your mouth. It's like opening and closing your mouth, and you're not really doing anything. A lot of actors do it now. I've seen Pacino do it a couple times.
It's like you're casual. It's like you're being casual.
Yeah.
Like opening your,
It's just like a thing to do. It's also a lot of actors sniff. It's just, I don't know, I'm just picking up on little things performers do to just have something to do.
Yeah.
We were watching a scene in The Bear where these two dumbasses were talking in a car, and it's supposed to be two men talking, and they're just like, people just do that.
Yeah, like Robert De Niro looks away a lot.
I think that's just like 50% of acting is at this point.
Yeah.
Just doing stupid shit with your face.
I watched The Equalizer this morning. And
which one?
The first one.
Oh yeah.
And like the first time he kills someone, and he like sets his he sets his like timer on his watch.
Yeah.
But he's like, he tries to kill everyone within like 27 seconds. And this first kill was 28 seconds. So he stares at the watch, and then he goes, then he looks over for like 4 seconds, looks back at it, and then goes.
Yeah.
That's chawing.
I think that qualifies.
He's just
like
playing with the mouth.
Just playing with your mouth, moving your mouth around.
It was over. I mean, I filmed it. It was over the top. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen him do.
He does weird stuff all the time.
Sounds like he's huffing and puffing. He does this pouty lip thing where he's like,
yeah.
I could watch him all day.
Can I tell you guys about
Here we go.
I know it's been a while since I've brought a comic strip here.
Okay.
So just let people know that maybe that maybe this is the first episode they're listening in on. So I'm huge like comic strip guy. Love Sunday comics. I like, from basically the whole history of them. And so I get a bunch of newsletters, a bunch of updates, I follow a bunch of accounts that just post, like Daily Garfield, Daily Love Is, Daily Family Circus, whatever. And they post a lot of ones that are kind of off the cutting room floor that maybe were found in an estate sale or like gallery or something that wasn't published. And I got a Beetle Bailey one that was really kind of, honestly, it was super sexy, but it's pretty fucked up. And Beetle Bailey, it's like they're at like an army base, and Beetle Bailey's kind of like a slacker, and he's always getting his ass beat by the sergeant. And I want to send you the comic strip to get your guys' take on it. I was sitting out in front of at a bus station, not a bus station, but like a bus stop on the side of waiting for a bus to come. And I was just like scrolling my phone, and this thing came up. And I got kind of embarrassed, honestly, because I was like, okay, is somebody going to be looking over my shoulder? Are they going to see this? And I'm going to send it to the chat. And Mike, do you want to describe it
Um,
to us? Here, it's coming in right now.
Again, it's a hand-drawn illustration. It's white balanced as if it was lit by like a lamp, like a table lamp. So it's very golden. I wouldn't even say it's black and white. It's black and gold, basically. Okay, and it says Mr. Blips. Never heard of this character. No, it says Miss Blips. She's holding. Don't do it. I'll do anything. Two men are saying, and Miss Blips is holding a pistol up to her chin. I thought this was a guy, and she's crying. The next frame is she pulls the gun away. It's a close up of Miss Blips. She says, "Anything?" Okay. My God. And then the next panel, it's one of the characters who asked if they could help Miss Blips tied to a truck, with a full erection. There's a glint of light on the tip of his erect penis. And Mrs. Blip is wearing a thong, her butt facing the guy who's tied to a truck. The truck is driving forward, and she's turning over her shoulder, and it says she's exclaiming "Dick madness." And she has a lower back tattoo, and her chest is jiggling. So this is a cartoon that Nathan says found somewhere. I'm describing it to you right now.
At an estate sale, he said.
Oh, it's at an estate.
Yeah, somebody posted it. That they got it at an estate sale of the Beetle Bailey guy.
I can actually see like some of the initial pencil work where the line work was done on it. For example, it's where it says Dick Madness. I can see the D was written a little bit more to the left initially, but they had to scoot it over so that there was more room for this guy he's scared. What's funny is this guy's scared that's tied to the front of a truck, but he has a huge erection. It's pretty cool when I think about it.
Looks like there's crosshairs on the penis.
You think that's okay. See, I read that as like a glint in the sun.
I think it is, but it looks
it's crosshair. It could be mistaken for crosshair.
So it's Beetle Bailey and the Sarge are trying to talk Miss Blips out of killing herself.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's got a gun to her head. And they said, "Stop, don't do it. I'll do anything." And she says, "Anything?" And then the third frame is Beetle Bailey chained to the front of a Jeep, driving full speed at Miss Blips, who's bending over, presenting with a thong on. And her titties are jiggling. And Beetle Bailey's fully erect, but he's also terrified, and he's digging his feet into the ground to try to stop it. But his penis is heading, straight for her ass or vagina. And Miss Blips is yelling out, "Dick madness."
When do you think this is allegedly made?
Seems like a 70s thing.
No, I guess you guys noticed I'm drinking a beer today. Someone left it at my house.
Oh, that's cool.
Short Fuse Brewing Company, Lucy Juicy Hazy IPA. Didn't have any Coca-Cola, so I'm drinking a tall boy beer. My tolerance is really low. I don't usually drink at all anymore.
What's that ABV on that one?
6.4.
Oh, you might get a little buzz going on.
With me, man, I'll be stumbling out of here. You know what I mean? My tolerance is low. Anywho, I thought I'd use this as an Oh, sorry, Nathan. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to...
Just the look on your face was so fucking disappointing. What'd you want to say?
I just wanted to talk about what John was drinking.
Oh, okay. John, what are you drinking?
Drinking a Maker's Mark.
A Maker's Mark and Diet Coke.
Yum. That sounds good. Okay, so what I was going to say is I'm really hard up for a job right now. I'm struggling. Things aren't really working out for me. Money-wise, I have a kid. So I'm really just wanted to use this as an opportunity to reach out to see if anyone wants to hire me for some part-time work, freelance work. I can do fabrication. I've done framing before. Nathan and John can attest to that. I can do woodworking, editing, podcasts. You need someone to edit a podcast. I edit this one often. Could do digital animation, 2D, 3D barista. If it pays good enough, I might do it. If it's one of these nicer places, I can't guarantee that I'm going to be in a good mood all the time because I'm kind of a little bit stressed out. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but life is hard for everyone right now. I've worked in cafe, barista, framer,
Catering.
I've done catering. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, you're a really good cook, really good chef.
I could art stuff. I could paint. So just please let me know if you need someone. I really need money right now, and my wife's birthday is coming up, so I'm fucked if I buy her a birthday present. And imagine what that's going to be like when she dumps my ass and I don't have any money. How much money I'm going to need then? So email us at fantcastpod@gmail.com if you have any job opportunities for me in the Chicagoland area. I'm willing to commute. I have a bike. It's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, just give him a job. Otherwise, you're gonna the sooner you get him a job, the sooner he'll stop using your guys' valuable time to ask you to hire him.
Yeah, I need work pretty bad. And you guys can work as references for me, right? Like you would say I'm pretty good worker.
Yeah. No, you're a really hard worker.
I know I'm not the easiest guy to get along with. I'm pretty moody. I have blood sugar blasted really high, and then it gets low, and I get paranoid and stuff. And I drink a lot of coffee. I probably shouldn't.
You're also really good at making bacon.
Yeah. And I'm trying to steer away from more food service, but I can cut down to that. I can be a short order cook. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just hard to switch midstream. Being a 40, so my life's pretty fucking much over. I can't go to school again. Too old to start again.
You're also an actor, pretty accomplished actor.
Oh yeah, I'm an actor. If you guys got actual money you can give me, I'd take it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be doing any student films or anything like that. I'm not even that good an actor. What else have I done? Could probably do some video work.
You could probably just do stuff around somebody's house if they needed like a helping hand.
Yeah, probably.
You could watch somebody's kids. You got a kid of your own. You'd be a nanny.
That sucks. Okay. Also, I was looking at these notes. I said that we had a shared document ideas, and some of these are pretty cool. One of them is John talks about East Cleveland historic architecture.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that one in the other day. I thought it would be fun.
Comparing each other's bodies was another idea.
Mm-hmm.
Make up listeners' questions. Do that.
Yeah.
I guess if no one listens to this podcast, it doesn't matter. But if anyone has any questions for us, they can email us fantcastpod@gmail.com.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, what's up, man?
So you're sitting there. You're at a park with your kids and your family, and you're enjoying yourself. It's a Saturday afternoon, and you decide, let's go to the park. We'll get some ice cream. We'll go eat it. The kid's on the playground. Kid runs back to you and is like, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, I want you. Come get on the swings with me." And you're like, "All right, just let me finish my ice cream." And then somebody comes up, a total stranger, right? He's wearing like the clothes of the political ideology that you most disagree with, like full dress, and they say to you, "I don't believe that you should have the same rights as me," and they say that to you like out loud in front of your family. What do you do?
Oh my god, that's crazy. Nothing would ever get under my skin more than that. The question is, what would the shirt say?
It would just be, whatever. Imagine the slogan of the political candidate that you most disagree with ideologically, and you can fill in the blank. Listener, if you want to think about this at home.
Fugazi shirt.
Yeah. Again, if Fugazi shirt walks up to you and he says, I don't believe you should have the same rights that I do in front of your family.
Well, whenever someone's walking up to me, I'm already palming the box cutter I keep on me at all times. So if that happened, I'd probably like be so triggered I'd accidentally open it up and like cut my leg a little bit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
But he's unaware of that. I don't know,
I like-
John. What do you think?
Well, I like the idea of somebody coming up to you with that kind of a question. Sorry, Ed, and like mid question before they even finish or it registers what's happening. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're like squirting blood out of your leg.
Confusing for them, like straight up.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they have no idea what's going on, and they're just completely. They just like start running away.
No, I don't. I feel like everything would get like loud in my head. It's like a train was coming. You know, like I
Yeah.
wouldn't have a clue what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually people, sneak. For example, after like things recently got more heated up in Palestine, I
Mhm.
saw this guy walking around the park. He looked like a fit like college guy, full head of hair, like perfectly manicured beard, wearing like a Palestinian scarf, like look, and putting on airs, like looking, basically making like eye contact with everyone that passed him by.
Yeah.
Very embarrassing way.
Yeah.
That's usually how I feel like people's politics from strangers is expressed. And in t-shirts. I guess I did walk by someone and they had like anti-snowflakes
Sure.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
I can't remember
Yeah.
the sentiment. It was like cry more snowflakes or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And no, that makes sense. That's
Also walking like very self-consciously and like gauging your reaction from seeing their dumb shirt that they bought.
right.
As you pass them by.
And that's usually how it goes. And in this fantasy, it's like instead of them like what they're saying by trying to make eye contact with you, they're saying just explicitly to your face.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean?
I would honestly, I always play dumb. You know what I mean? I'm always
Mhm.
caught off guard when someone's acting confrontational, and I would probably laugh. I wouldn't take them seriously. I would think
Yeah.
that they're trying to be really funny, and I would probably think that they're one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, and
Yeah.
bravest,
Yeah.
especially on the park, because people on the park, with your kids act so performative now. Aaron and I have really been dissecting it. And I think we're not going to play it anymore. But people are like very performative hand holding of their children in park areas. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Oh, absolutely.
Or you're just like, tone it down, bud.
Yeah. It's an
Well, like
opportunity.
they're
like-
playing too hard with the kid.
Yeah,
Just
they're
like-
like the happiest person
Yeah,
in the
they're
world.
acting like it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're either faking or you've literally never been to the park more than once with your kid.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
visiting you on,
Or something bad happened where you like enjoy life for a couple days. Where you're just like
Yeah.
something bad happened. You're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna take the kid out and have some fun.
right. That's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Or you were just
I never
really
looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Like
you're just
someone's
really
in the
mean.
hospital.
You're really mean to the kid,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Yeldy. Here, come. Let's go to the park."
Yeah, and you just get
So you're like
crazy.
compensating. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
this is fun, isn't it? We're having such a good time. Yeah, if someone came up to me and even talked to me at all, that would be even
That's pretty aggressive.
aggressive and scary because that's your usual people in the playground are usually hamming it up with their kids.
Yeah. You know, it would be pretty
In the
disarming
yuppie ass parks I go to.
is if you ask to use the guy's phone. He like comes up and asks you that question. You're like, "Oh, God, can I use your phone? Mine ran out of batteries." And you call like and order yourself like a burrito.
I hope this happens.
I think
Maybe
this
one day it
happened.
will.
I think it does happen.
Yeah, I think if you position yourself right,
Yeah.
and like if you're looking for that kind of confrontation, like it'll find you.
Like if you were some 22-year-old like green-haired girl who went into some like I don't know, like in the South or something like that, I'm sure that those people walk up to them and say shit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
Yeah, like you went to like a retirement community in like Florida
Yeah.
and just like sat on a park bench on a bench there. Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody would definitely say
eventually
something to
someone
you.
would harass you.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. Interesting question. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
look at my notes.
mm-mm.
I'm sure I have something funny to say.
one of the notes that one of you guys wrote was really funny and interesting. I think it might have been you, John. It's got your fingerprints all over it. Pung that treats celiac disease.
Yeah. Like,
Is that yours?
yeah. Like,
Imagine like you could prescribe different kinds of pung to guys. You know, like this one cures celiac. This one cures hepatitis.
or just a woman that had like her pH balance was so perfect that it's like if they could bottle it up, they could treat, diseases that aren't like insane, like celiac disease. You just avoid gluten.
So it's
what if you could like bottle up this woman's pussy, drink it once a week, and you're able to eat as much fucking bread as you want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I thought it was like someone you proposed this idea, pung that can treat celiac disease. That's all I see. First thing that comes to mind, I'm thinking you have sex with this person and it cures your celiac disease. But no. I
was thinking more like you eat her out and you somehow find out that, oh, like I can eat gluten again. What's going on? What has changed in my diet that I can eat gluten?
Cool.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I ate her pussy.
Right. You have those binomes in you.
Yeah.
Microbinomes.
Yeah. And like her DNA holds the key to it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fascinating.
The way that I thought about it is like the doctor is like, okay, yeah, it turns out you have celiac disease. You have to go find a redhead between the ages of like 30 and 40.
I mean, eventually it would be that way, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like they assign different diseases, then you have to have sex with a different kind of person.
That would be really interesting. I mean, I think people need to start thinking about that. Maybe there is something about the poo. Where you get someone else's poo inside your body to get their microbiome.
Yeah. I think there's something there. Yeah.
People just maybe things are a little too sanitary, and people need to get more messy. This might have to do with the impending gender war that's happening. I mean, no one's having babies anymore, and everyone's afraid of having sex with each other. That might be why is there so much celiac disease in the world? Not enough people are sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
And fellas, a gender war is coming. Okay, I've heard it mentioned a couple times already, and men and women are going to be at each other's throats. And it's really like watching your mommy and daddy fighting. I want another baby. The dad's like, you're too drunk to have another baby. You can't have another baby. It's like that, watching that on a national
over and over
level.
and over and over again.
Just like you're a bum. All you do, you drink. You come home and you drink. You're all dirty and oily from work.
Yeah.
So
God, and there's not a room with strong enough doors for you to run to and hide in where you can't hear that fighting. You know what I mean?
Ugh, I just see like a silhouette on the wall of them just screaming at each other.
Yeah.
And I just want to hide, but that's the world we're going to be living in. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Well, to your point, Mike and John too, is like you can spread diseases through through penetration. So why can't you spread healing things as well?
Right.
Antibodies, healing hormones, A1 greens.
Yeah,
totally. You wouldn't need A1 greens. Wouldn't even be around.
Yeah, like if you got one of those really healthy guys that you see on Instagram, only eat food with like one mother, one father, single origin. They're on like
Oh yeah,
zero,
yeah.
very low body fat, are into calisthenics. If you got one of those guys to fuck you and you got a little bit of whatever they have going on inside of their body, inside of you, then it'll just take hold and kind of spread, you know, drinking their cum, them blowing
Well, yeah. I
cum
mean,
inside of
they
you,
say I don't know how it was in the past, but
them
it's like
coming on your skin.
that's another thing going on right now. Men aren't friends with men anymore. People are not friends with each other.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I mean, they would have these situations where people would go to stag parties. They would watch dirty movies together, and who knows what happened. It's the fraternal code. You can't really talk about it when you're home, but your boss would be right next to you watching this movie and you begin stuff on you. It's in the air, it's misted in the air. So
Yeah.
we've really turned our backs on each other. I don't know. I'm giving Donald Trump a shot. I don't want to make it political, but I say if he's the new captain, let's just see how he plays it. Maybe he's got something to offer. You know me, I was pretty hysterical for the past 8 to 15 years just politically, but now I'm
Hmm.
just ready to relax, get a nice part-time job that brings in a little extra dough so I can buy my family presents during Christmas time and for their birthdays.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see what happens.
Not too much to ask. Well, your comment about the stag party, Mike, ties nicely into my fantasy. You guys are ready to launch into your sexual fantasies.
Do it.
Okay, so in this fantasy, I live in a mountain town, in somewhere in Appalachia. But it's kind of like the bougie part, like in Asheville, kind of like hippy dippy, but still kind of like costs a lot of money to live there. And I'm, a few miles away from any town, and I'm in like a development with a bunch of other people, and we're in a valley. Big, big, big storm comes, knocks out power for miles around, right? No chance of us getting any kind of power back on anytime soon. It's a whole like you're talking about like getting supplies into the mountains to rebuild down power lines. It's just not going to happen. Like we don't have any internet, we don't have any power. The only reason that we know about all this is that like National Guard people will like helicopter in and tell us what's going on. We don't even have any generators because they're all being used at the hospital. So we're just really like in this community, we're really on pins and needles, and we don't have wondering when we're just going to run out of food, run out of resources. And me, like I'm a businessman in the area. I just, I'm one of those guys that just like finds a way to make a buck here or there. Like I'll plow driveways in like parking lots in the wintertime. In the summertime, I don't know, sell hats and umbrellas and stuff on the side of the road. I'm very entrepreneurial kind of guy, and so I start get to thinking, and I'm like, okay, I see this big storm's coming, and we're likely going to be out of power. So I spend the whole day before printing on my black and white printer. I print out a whole bunch of like curated pornography images on my printer, and I put them in a binder in like sleeve like cellophane sleeves in a binder. And what I'll do is I'll put like I'll take like a 30-second video clip from like a GIF or some other like short pornographic clip of like oral sex or some kind of penetration or like a boob drop or something like that, and I'll take it clip by clip, frame by frame, and print it out, right? So that if you kind of like flip through the pages, you get the impression that you're kind of like watching pornography essentially. And in my head, I'm thinking like this is going to be gold, like once all the power's out, nobody's going to have any pornography. They're going to be, I could sell these things for, name your price. So sure enough, the power gets knocked out, and a couple days go by, and I wait for people to get kind of like nice and horny, and I start dropping. I map out where all the guys live in the community. Like I know some of them, of course, and I start putting sliding envelopes under their doors with their names on them, and I with a picture, right, with a pornography image like that I pulled out, and it's got directions to my house, and it says, tell your friends. So word spreads around this little like community that I've got a bunch of black and white pornography images, and so a bunch of like the very next day, just like a bunch of guys show up to my house, right? I have kind of like a change of heart, like this this kind of dire situation, I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm not even going to charge you money. Just come on in. You can look at all the pornography you want, um, and we'll just hang out. So I bring them all into my basement, and guys keep coming over. One guy brings a football, and we set up a flag football game in the backyard. Some guy brings over some board games, some like tabletop gaming starts happening. Candlelight, there's no power, so it's just like kind of cozy, warm environment, and like uh, these guys are playing football and drawing up plays on the stitches of the football and just really kind of getting to know each other. When before it's just like get up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, blah blah blah. There's not a lot of bonding, not a lot of community. And at the heart of all this is this binder that's being passed around, right? And guys are just taking the binder. They can go into my laundry room. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, you can beat off in there. And so they'll go in there and they'll beat off. I've got like a garbage can. The only thing that I ask is that they just blast in this garbage can where I keep the lint. So everybody's kind of like crouching over, looking at this binder and like crouching over this garbage can and blasting in it. Um, guys are bringing over like leftovers. Their fridges are dying, so they're bringing over leftovers. They're bringing over like warm beer, but we don't care. Some guy makes loaded fries out of some like cheese that he had that was going to go bad, and some bacon bits and some fries that he had in his fridge. And we just kind of like share food. We get to know each other. It's a real kind of cool environment. And So everybody goes home, and there's this one guy that's sticking around, and I kind of know him. Like, imagine he's kind of like a Weasley, shifty kind of a dude. I never really knew him that well, but I couldn't really. He's. Like, I'm trying to think of like, like Ratso from Midnight Cowboy, right? Like that kind of like demeanor to him. And he's the last guy to leave. He kind of like won't leave. It's kind of uncomfortable. And he's like, "Hey, let me go to your laundry room one more time." And he takes the binder. He goes in there. I hear him coming, and he comes out and he leaves. And he hands me the binder, and I look at the binder, and I notice there's like a section missing from it, right? And I'm like, that motherfucker took like some of my pornography out of there. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It's fine. Like, whatever. The next day, like, the guys, they just kind of like show back up, right? And this time they're bringing like some guys bring their guns, and we set up like a shooting range. And other guys are, one guy went hunting and he brings over a deer, and we smoke some meat. And some guys got like a bunch of wine in a wine cellar. So he brings over some bottles of wine, and we're just getting tipsy, and everybody's just enjoying and jacking off. And it gets to the point where we're not even going to a laundry room anymore. We're just like jacking off in my basement, on my couch by candlelight. It's like it's kind of like private and intimate, but nobody really even gives a shit. And it's just like that for a couple days, And then one day, just like nobody shows up, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Where did everybody go? I'm like, I've come to expect. I kind of like it. It's fun. It's it's some way to kill the time. And I say to my wife, I'm like, who's totally supportive of all this. She just likes that I'm, connecting with people and making friends, because I didn't really have any friends before. And I'm like, where did everybody go? She's like, I don't know, but I saw like a bunch of cars parked out in front of this dude's house, that like Weasley dude that I was telling you about. I'm like, that motherfucker. I know he's up to something. I never trusted him. So I go over there, and I look in the window of his basement, and I see he's got like a flashlight aimed at like a forget what they're called. Mike, you probably know better than I do, but it's like an old school animation thing that just spins around, and as it spins around into the light, it projects the light on.
Zoetrope.
Yeah, yeah, with these pornography images that he stole from me, right? and he's got like one of those hand crank flashlights that he's using. So he's projecting this onto the wall, and every couple of minutes he has to stop and like crank up the flashlight. And it's like this real, like all the guys are there on like sitting on folding chairs, and they're jacking off and they're hard, and they're watching this like image play out on the wall. But like the dude is like this. It's a really sterile environment. Nobody's having fun. This guy's like shushing people if they try to talk. You know, he just like you can tell he's getting off on being in control of this thing, like being okay, great, you figured out a way to make the pictures actually move. Good for you. But in a time like that, like who's going to look at black and white pornography images when you have effectively like a porno movie? And the part that he stole is a girl gagging on it, and who doesn't like that, right? So I'm like brewing. I'm pissed off. I'm stewing in my head. I go back to my wife. I'm like, this fucking guy is like, he took all my friends from me. And she's like, listen, settle down. I got an idea. How would you like to put on a show for your friends? I'm like, a show? I'm like, yeah. Get them all back over here, and we've got some work to do. Right. So my wife and I plan out this whole show in our basement. Like we get all the guys over there and we plan out this kind of like vaudeville type show where it's like really blue, it's really bawdy. And everybody's sitting in there with like the lights out, just the candlelight, and they're like, what's gonna happen? I wonder what's going on. One of the guys that I know, I get him to play piano. I have a piano, and my wife comes out in like burlesque outfit, right? And she's like dancing around, and I come out, and I'm nude I'm wearing a shirt, and I'm nude from the waist down, and I have an erect penis, And so just imagine like the music, like gung, 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 dun, dun. It's kind of like a tango or a waltz or whatever, like a tango, and she's pretending to be like to charm my dick with like an imaginary string. It's like a dance, it's like a performance, And as she pulls the string by my dick, like I make my dick go up and down, like I get hard and soft to like the movement of her hand, like she's controlling it. And when I get soft, she acts like really sad and frustrated and pouty and like, oh, how could, like, you are not the man, kind of a thing. And then I get hard and she's like, oh, and she's like, feeling my muscles and stuff like that. And I'm smiling at the crowd. And so, people are like chuckling. And then we do a bit where it's like a ventriloquism thing where I sit on her lap and she sticks her couple of fingers in my ass and starts like pretending I'm like a doll, and I'm making jokes about like, I thought you guys wouldn't laugh at my jokes. I thought they might be a little bit too cheeky, like really kind of bad puns about like ass and stuff like that. And then the rest of the show is just like we have an intermission, and then the rest of the show is just like a standard sex, like live sex show where it's like oral sex. She's going down on me, then I go down on her. We have a couple different positions: reverse cowgirl, doggy style, missionary, and then I rope on her face. And by this time, like everybody in the whole fucking room has busted a nut. And sure enough, the next day people come back and they bring their wives, they bring their girlfriends. It's like a whole thing. People start, bringing drinks over and, corn from their gardens, other things from their gardens. And it's kind of like a dinner and a show, right? And we just love performing. And, bless my wife's heart, she just knows that this is something that's really important to me. And this goes on for a couple days. And meanwhile, right, all the power's out. And so people are just happy to have the sense of community in an uncertain time. And then one day, the very next day, like nobody shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And my wife is like, everybody is over at this dude's house again. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but everybody's over there. So I'm like, all right, let me go get to the bottom of this. So I look in his basement window, and he's this guy, this like weaselly fucking dude, sneaky son of a bitch, is all the guys are over at his house. They're all kind of like standing around him, and he's pleasuring them. Like he's like desperately attempting to pleasure as many guys as he possibly can, just like fumbling in like this really ham-fisted way, like he's trying to fit like two dicks in his mouth, two dicks in each hand. He's like trying like too hard to get all these guys off, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? So I knock on his door. The guy's wife shows up. She's 3 sheets to the wind, just drunk off her ass. And she's like, yeah, you want to go downstairs? You want to go downstairs and watch my husband fuck all these guys? Go ahead. Go ahead. So I go down there. My wife shows up. She comes down here. She's like, what is going on here? I'm like, take a look at what the fuck this guy's doing. He's trying to manually and orally pleasure all of these guys. Like, he's so desperate for these guys' companionship that he's trying to get them all off. And so we're just sitting there watching, and this group of guys that's standing around this dude are like starting to get impatient, and they're like huffing and puffing and grunting and like pushing each other out of the way to like get in better position from this guy. Like they're they want to come, and so they're like shoving each other, and a fight breaks out. Not like a real fight, but they're like yelling and pushing, and I'm like, stop, 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 stop! Everybody, shut the fuck up here. And I take one guy, and I take another guy, and I put his dick in his hand, and I take another guy, and I kneel him down, and I put his dick on the other guy's mouth, and I just like set up this whole thing, where I'm like, this here, there you go, all right, this is how it should be. So I kind of choreograph this whole orgy between the guys, and it starts running smoothly, right? And I go and I sit down, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then I look over at this like Weasley guy, and he looks me in the eye. And I can tell by his eyes, he's kind of saying thank you, like kind of like thank you for getting me out of that situation. I'm like, yeah, no problem. And so I start making out with my wife, and the guy's drunk wife, like comes downstairs, and she comes over to me and my wife, and we're making out. And she's like, can I join the fun? And my wife's like, sure. She brings her over, they start making out, they start taking each other's clothes off, and they start making out with me, and his wife like hops on it, right? And she's like like riding me, and I look over at this dude, and I smile and nod, and he smiles and nods back at me. And he comes over, this like Weasley guy, and he's kneeling on the floor, and his wife is like, I'm gonna squirt, and she starts to squirt up in the air, like all over this guy. This guy's opening his mouth. Everybody just, it's the weirdest thing in the world. Everybody kind of comes at the same time in each other's mouths, in each other's hands, all over, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's coming, and then the lights go back on, and that's the end of the fantasy.
Interesting. Very erotic. Maybe one of the only fantasies you've ever done where a man and a woman had sex together. Loaded nachos.
Fries.
Loaded fries, sorry.
Yeah.
Loaded fries.
One of the few dishes you can make from day-old fries.
Right.
Put them in
So
a
you had
burrito.
So this guy never had any friends before this?
No,
Oh, it's interesting.
not really. I mean, you know how it is these days. People are kind of disconnected from each other.
It's interesting that they there's a competitive streak between these guys, but in the end they get along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of that tension builds something in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You think you'll continue to do this now that the lights are back on? And
I think we'll try to, and we'll all say that we want it, but life will get in the way.
Just fizzle out, yeah.
Life will get in the way. That's interesting.
Now that the power's back on, hey, everybody's got internet. Hey, everybody's got their phones and their pornography and their whatever. But just for those couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks, maybe like 7-8 days. We really had something there.
Probably the happiest times of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, outside of all the sex stuff, just like I'm performing at like Vegas level, like off Broadway level choreography with my wife. That's really entertaining, and
she's
sexy.
foreign, or
yeah,
that was part of the. Oh, she's Spanish.
I didn't say that necessarily, but I would imagine that a woman like that would be probably European,
French.
Yeah, to be that open to like performing in that way, that kind of in her mind it was like classy, artistic,
right?
So it wasn't like
it was
trying to get guys
like
off.
Yeah. That's cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Thanks. What part was hot to you, John?
Those guys jacking off in the trash can. All the lint.
Yeah.
I was just seeing my basement the entire time you were talking.
Yeah.
It's
You
like,
know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know where that spot is in the basement. It's right next to the dryer.
Yeah.
Mm.
The lint just like absorbs it all.
Yeah.
All the blast. Yeah.
Mm.
Which part was the most sexy to you, Mike?
Probably the stuff with like probably like the three-way at the end. The
Mhm.
drunk. She
Yeah.
sounds like embittered wife and your own wife, and her screaming that I'm gonna squirt sounds like just to get to a situation where someone is yelling that in front of other people just seems like the ramp up to get there is pretty wild, I think.
Yeah. A lot of things have to go right in order for it to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, like catching lightning in a bottle. It's just never going to happen.
That's a fantasy, baby.
Yeah.
You got yourself a fantasy there. I don't know. Wish I could take back what I just said. But yeah, that was a good one.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna go. Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. This one has a title. It's called Some Peace and Quiet. So I have some notes. I'm gonna try to work this one out live a little bit. All right. I'm an author. Strong jaw, glasses, constant stubble, full head of hair, blackish, parted down the middle. Probably German, maybe a little Spanish, pretty much a white guy. And I have a wife. She is definitely half German, half Irish. And we're both like comfortable middle class. I'm a successful author of crime novels. And I have to go to the woods to write write a novel, or else my agent says like my career's over. Okay. But here's the thing. I struggle to write the novel because everyone around me is too horny. Okay, so that's the main idea of this fantasy. So you can imagine how sexual this is going to get. Okay. So there I am in a cabin. Beautiful place. This place is beautiful. Imagine small town surrounded by nature. You're close to the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. Okay. Maybe it's East Coast. Okay, we're talking Maine or something in the summertime. Beautiful, beautiful place. All right. There's a maintenance guy. He's got to be 29. And he's got an older girlfriend that's showing him the ropes sexually, as they say. She's like 32. Okay, and she's fine as fuck. All right. And they have these three-wheelers, and they just ride. They're chasing each other around. I'm seeing them do like a love dance in front of me. All right. I'm trying to write my novel. I'm on the second floor. My wife's taking a nap because we were out all night drinking at the local bar. That's a whole nother story. I see them go to the corner of my property. I get my binoculars and I'm licking my lips. I got to see what's happening here. You know what I mean? I'm in chapter 1. I can't focus. I see these two. She's wearing shorts, cutoffs, okay, and like black bikini top. She's got tattoos. How awesome is that? Okay. They're on three-wheelers parked face to face. She sits on the hood of it, and he's sitting on the hood of the other car, and they're just like rubbing each other and making out and stuff, teasing each other, okay? He takes off her pants. Okay. She just has underwear on. All right. And he's touching and feeling, and she's touching and feeling him. His pants are down. Okay. They're doing it. All right. And she's rubbing her fingers all over his body. Okay. They're making out. She looks at me for a second at binoculars. She fucking sees me. Okay. I hide. I turn around. I hide. Okay. So they don't see me. Okay. But it is hot. Okay. So that wrecks me for like a week. I cannot focus. Anytime I start typing, I start describing this like messed up scene I witnessed. Okay. During this time, I'm trying to sleep, and I keep hearing a mountain lion in heat making this noise. And it sounds like someone just screaming. You know what I mean? And I wake up my wife, and I'm like, "Do you hear that? I think it's a mountain lion in heat." She says, "Go to sleep, honey. You're working too hard." And how guilty that makes me feel. I haven't been working at all. You know what I mean? I've been fantasizing about these two people on 3-wheelers on my property, and I'm like fantasizing about having sex with both of them. Okay. Maybe this has happened to you guys. It happens to me a lot. My wife keeps trying to have sex with me around the house. You know what I mean? That's like a common thing when you're married. Like your wife will, if you're working really hard at home, a lot of people work at home, your wife will be like, "Come to bed," you know, in the middle of the day. "Come to bed. Come. I want you to do me now. It's time to do me." You know, in a whiny voice. A voice you never hear anywhere else, ever, in your interactions with her. You know what I mean? Walking around naked and like coming up from behind and massaging you and grabbing you and telling you how beautiful you are as a man. So she's doing this kind of stuff. "You're so strong. You're so beautiful. I want to do you." And I just can't give in. I'm like, I need to be present. I need to focus here. You know, when I do give in, you know what I mean, we'll have straight face-to-face sex, and she's saying, you know, "Do me longer, do me harder." When we're done, when I bust, she's like, "Okay, I'm ready to go again." And I'm like, "Again?" You know what I mean? That happens often to me in real life. I figured I'd put it in here just to give this some sort of sense of reality. We invite some friends over, and they are okay. He's got a ponytail. You know what I mean? It seems like his body would be totally hairless. His name's Dav. Then, and his wife's name is Julinica, and she's French, dark hair, weird face, great figure, has always been flirty with you one-on-one, drives your wife crazy. My wife crazy. You know what I mean? She hates it. You're always flirting with her, but she kind of likes it too. They have a back and forth. They jab at each other. You know what I mean? They call each other the B word and stuff, but they like laugh about it. Anyways, we're all doing shots. We're watching Twister, and whenever someone mentions a Twister or there's a picture of a Twister or anything like that, you have to take a shot. So we're just hammered. You know, they all basically just have sex in front of me, and I'm just standing there holding a drink, shaking. You know what I mean? Because I can't give in. I know if I give in, I'll lose that sexual power that's so important about writing. That you need to write a good novel. Okay. Okay, there's a hot neighbor. Surprise, surprise, they're super attractive. It's a super attractive woman that tries on different cosplay outfits. You know what I mean? And I don't know what any of these characters are. She's sending me these dances that looks like she's like having a seizure. You know what I mean? And they're like stiff and making these weird faces that. And I asked her, I'm like, "Do you know who these characters are? You know what I mean? Like, what are they?" And she's like, "I don't really know. I've just seen like, it's like anime convention. Like people like these things." I'm like, "Okay, tell me the lore of it at least. Like of one of these characters. They have like blue hair or something." And I could tell she's talking to me. She's just making the whole thing up. You know what I mean? I look it up later on. I asked my friend who knows stuff like that. Like she doesn't know what this stuff is. She's just doing it to wear like hot outfits to put on Instagram for likes. She doesn't care what it is. You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Don't you feel weird about that?" So I go over next door and I'm like, "I did some research. It's like, I noticed that you don't know a lot about what these characters are." And she's like, "Do you want to see more outfits?" I'm like, "Yes. Okay, let's see what you have. I want to know if like any of this connects to me or anything like that." I'm trying to understand like younger people because there's a character in the novel that's young and horny. And I can't make heads or tail of it. I'm using them for research, and they just keep wearing like just the stupidest stuff and making the dumbest, doing these dumb dances. You guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen this kind of stuff. It's very weird, strange, sick stuff. Another time she invites me over and she wants me to take pictures of her and another cosplay person in bed, and they're groping each other and making out and begging me to have sex with them. And I'm like, guys, I came here. I thought you needed a favor. This is taking time out of the novel I'm writing. This is really important to me. If I don't write a good novel, they're going to can my ass. I'm never going to be able to write another novel again. And they said, look, there's no strings attached. You would surely enjoy yourself. We'll never even bother you again, and we'll even pay you if you want to do that. And this was like the perfect opportunity to do something like this, which would be really cool because it would be two like really hot people wearing cool outfits that are in like really good shape, and it's not something that happens every day. But I run away because I know that it's worth it. And you two guys, you're probably asking, why am I scared? I'm scared that if I give in to all this horniness, I'll lose something special that I think I have. You see, I'm an author, and my calling is writing great books, great novels, great books to thrill you, books that scare you, books that remind you that love is the most powerful emotion in the world. Books that bring you to another place. Books that grab you. And they don't let go. That's what I'm supposed to do. So at this time, you're probably asking, how does this fantasy wrap up? Good question. Okay, we throw a big party at the end of the summer, invite everyone previously mentioned. That's the groundskeeper, the couple. She has short reddish hair, by the way. The maintenance man and his girlfriend. Oh, wait, that's the same person. Maintenance man and his girlfriend. My wife, who's my same age but really beautiful. Some of her friends who are models from her previous life. She used to be a model. And they're all single. The friends who tried to get us to swing with them, you mentioned them earlier on. It was Davin and
Jelenica.
The hot neighbor and some of her friends who are cosplayers, and some of these men that are just like around the neighborhood, whatever. And some townspeople that tried to trick me into having sex with them at other times that I just didn't want to get into right now when I go into town to try to buy supplies from them, like groceries and whatnot stuff. Okay, and I make a big toast. And this is crazy. Ding, 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 ding. Writing this book has really been tough for me. Because you all keep tempting me with sexual pleasure. And I'll admit, I really almost gave in a few times. Some of you, and then I make eye contact with the cosplay neighbor. And I won't say who, everyone laughs. Made it very hard to turn down. And I mean very hard. Everyone's laughing again. They think it's funny. And I say like quietly, I'm like, you're so beautiful. You're so goddamn good looking. It's unbelievable to me. I'm going to tear runs down my cheek. The crowd sighs a little bit because they see like I'm being real. You know what I mean? They're like, oh. And then I get back to the siege. But I knew, I don't know how, but I knew that if I stayed the course, that I would be able to write something. Give a little sob. I'm like crying. I would write something real. I pound my chest like hard a couple times. I try to swallow my tears. God damn it. And I did. I think I did it this time. Night Scanner is hands down my most powerful novel. It tells the story of a young FBI agent that goes undercover to generate sexual situations amongst pro-Palestinian protesters in the fast-track crowd of liberal millionaire activists in today's New York City. Throughout the book, our hero sexually radicalizes, orchestrates modern-day love-ins, produces high-quality smut, and always forgets that he's a paid agent of the FBI intent on blackmailing, coercing, corrupting, and copulating dangerous networks into submission. So cheers, everyone, cheers. To all of you, you're the reason this book will be my best book yet. Everyone cheers. After that, after the cheers, you get the sense of what's going on. After that, think about it. All these beautiful people are all horny that have been trying to get me to have sex this entire time are in one room. Okay. It's like a pressure cooker. They've been drinking. They're all horny. And they're all centered around me. You know what I mean? And in a way, like I give them the opportunity to just go for it. You know what I mean? Like I showed my real side, and that means they're going to show me their real side. That's the exchange. So yeah, we did it. We all did it together. It was great. It was cool. And it's something I'll never forget about. Okay, I want you to know that none of that would have mattered if I didn't first do the hard work either. You know what I mean? That whole moment, none of it would have mattered if I didn't really dig deep within myself to try to pull something out that my readers, yeah, some of the critics too, I won't forget about them, that they pull something out deep within me that I know is going to electrify my readers. Once you're done reading Night Scanner, you will question everything you know about activism, global politics, and about the youth. Most of all, you will be left wondering, was it all worth it? So that's the end. And really, before we get into it, I think this would be like a really good movie. I think this would be a really good movie. There's like the characters. If you get a good leading man for this, you know what I mean? Like a handsome guy, and you throw in some like young, hot actors that are ready to be sexy for the screen. You know what I mean? Get people hot. I think this has got legs. I really do. I think this could easily be a movie going to theaters, and I don't want to say awards, but I think if it doesn't get awards or nominated, like if it's done just right with like my consultation, like we could turn this into something pretty good.
Yeah. Who's playing you?
Someone, I don't know. I think like
You know who I'm thinking?
I don't know. I want someone young. I want a fresh face. Someone that this would be like someone that works hard and like who's going to be the next Tom Hardy? That's who I would want it to be. You know?
Yeah. You know who I think you should play you in this? Mark Wahlberg. Absolutely.
If he wants to get into it, that sounds good. A big name like that would get it made. I just want it to get made.
Imagine that guy being just sexually teased for 2 hours straight.
He's like Tom Cruise. You know, you see him in a movie talking to another woman, and it's just one of the most alien, confusing things you've ever seen. The man has absolutely no chemistry with a woman. They're scared of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The new Top Gun movie, watching Tom Cruise with Jennifer Connelly is like hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's not cute. It's fucking weird.
That is weird.
And you say fucking Mark Wahlberg, the man's a fucking psychopath. You know what I mean?
I just think I don't know. I think he makes good movies.
Mark Wahlberg. What? I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No, I just think the guy makes good movies. But anyways, you could
Gibson one. Looks good. Where's Paul?
That's what I was thinking of.
Looks good.
I just thought it was really like one of the sexiest things about that whole fantasy is like here you have is this woman who's your neighbor, right?
Oh,
she's young, she's into cosplay, she just likes dressing up.
Yeah.
But she has no idea who the fuck she's dressing up as. She doesn't even give a shit, really. She'll lie to you. She'll lie to you and tell you she knows who they are. But she just hopes that you'll be titillated enough to where you don't even care. Right. You'll kind of like lose the thread of even caring, like asking or following up. But you don't, and you discover that she just looks at pictures that she likes and dresses up like people without any context of, like, she could be dressed up as a person who's like a, in the comic book is the most least sexy, villainous person ever.
I think they have.
She doesn't give a fuck.
I think they
How
have
sexy is that?
I think they have a chat that I don't know. I don't know where they get their information from.
Just being completely oblivious to any of the meaning of any of the things that they're dressing up as.
Yeah.
Outside of the fact that they want to wear certain kind of makeup and they want to wear certain kind of clothes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have some imagination. Make up your own stuff.
Yeah. And then you have this amazing book about just the sexual COINTEL program.
It's like a contemporary version of that, but for pro-Palestinian protesters, mostly college people.
And you're just
swinging academics in today's New York City.
Yeah. And you just dick them down so hard that they just get sleepy and disinterested in the movement.
It's actually a really interesting. It's going to be a really interesting story. I mean, this thing could be turned into a movie itself. I mean, this guy's, he goes in there with pure intentions to bring this down. He thinks he knows what's going on, but they, by creating all these situations, blackmailing material, psychological mind games, he starts to get flipped out. He gets turned out. He doesn't know which way it's up, and at the end, he actually finds out that what's going on is wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he kind of has his own journey.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but does he? Yeah. Does he this might be getting too literal, but so he goes into an enclave of pro-Palestinian activists, and he dicks a guy down so deep that the guy just the guy just loses interest in the movement.
Makes him fall in love with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, and he so he gives him that dick that's so good that he falls in love with him, and he uses that pulls at his sexual heartstrings in order to disrupt the movement.
That's the original intention, yes.
Yeah. I could think of a lot of different ways.
He changes.
Yeah. But you have to have a couple of scenes where he's sucking guys.
Go on.
And just fucking them so good that for whatever reason.
I said I never specified what he was doing or to who, but I envisioned absolutely different stuff, more heteronormative stuff. But that's an interesting take, and that shows me how limited my view is.
However it plays out is up to you.
No, it's fine. It's interesting to hear other people's points of view. And I'm glad I got to bounce it off you.
Long story short, these people get so blown out that they don't sexually, that they just they have no motivation other than to just lay in bed and maybe smoke a cigarette. They can't show up to the protest. They can't show up to the rally.
Should be told a lot of these kids just need to relax, enjoy the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of these kids are loaded as fuck. They should just enjoy their lives. Be grateful for what they have.
Yeah, whether it's a guy this main character giving a guy anal sex or a woman anal sex, it doesn't matter. The intention is still the same, which is to derail them from their set goal, which is to disrupt.
John, what do you think?
I didn't take it quite as gay as Nathan did.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of keeps coming.
Yeah, I didn't think you're pounding everyone so they'd forget.
It's weird. It's weird when someone does that. They keep saying something you can't tell if they know it's wrong and they're trying to provoke you, or they honestly are just oblivious to it and they just want there's some compulsion behind it, because Nathan keeps mentioning sex with men over and over and over again.
Yeah,
it's hard to get a read on him because he's plays it so straight.
I thought of it more as you wrote a book that sort of covered both sides. People are still going to protest.
Yeah,
but you weren't. I don't. Never in that fantasy. I think you fucked anyone in the ass.
Yeah, I never mentioned that. I never applied that. I mentioned orgies and just being promiscuous and blackmail, basically.
Yeah,
So
that's fair, but you didn't.
It's all fair. I didn't
say
specify.
that you didn't do any of those things.
And I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And he keeps saying it over and over and over again. It
keeps
just...
bringing it up.
Yeah, it's funny.
I just won't let it go. I can't let it go.
But I'm in no position to stop you. So that's what fantasies are, I suppose. All right, J-Boy, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm an ex-porn star. You guys know that podcast No Jumper?
Oh.
Like an ex-porn star BMX guy. Anyways,
Is it Adam 22?
Yes, that fucking guy. Okay, so
this fuck.
Similar vibes. I'm a ex-porn star, influencer. I start a podcast, and my whole thing is that I track down retired porn stars, and I just meet up with them. We get food, sort of like No Reservations with Bourdain.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talk about current events, eat food. And it's kind of, it moves kind of slow, and I don't really have an audience yet, but there's like a dedicated following. I'm real active with my fans, constantly responding to emails. I do like a live feed every night. People talk to me. A fan emails me and he says, why don't have you ever thought about doing an episode about Yana Kovalchuk, who is a Ukrainian porn star that died in Chernobyl. I remember when Chernobyl happened, like 79, 80, something like that. So she's like a legendary porn star, and I know her by name, but I don't really know her work. So I start digging in. I'm watching all of her stuff. She's one of the first women to squirt on film, and she does like double dong type stuff. She tried to do like a triple dick, like pretty early on, like 73, did like a triple dick scene. So I keep reading about it. I'm kind of getting obsessed with it, and then I'm reading about Chernobyl. I'd never heard of it. I was like, oh, it's interesting, pretty fucked up. I don't even know where the Ukraine is, So I talked to my producers, and we decide we're gonna like film a piece on her. And I'm doing all my research. I talked to a guy, and he says, well, that like in her apartment, she has there's like a stash of videos that she never got released because she died. And I'm like, oh, well, that would be interesting if I could just film a thing where I just like travel there, like just do like a travel documentary of me going through there, finding the videos, coming back, and then like eventually releasing them. So that's the plan. I book a flight. I go to the duty free, place to buy stuff. I just get like cigarettes and some wine. I don't grab food. I just kind of assume there's gonna be places for me to like stop and eat, and like I assume that I'm gonna be able to rent a car and just kind of drive there. So I show up, and I can't rent a car because it's a war zone in the Ukraine. And I find a driver that will take me to a certain checkpoint, and then I'm on my own. So he gives me a rundown of how I'm going to get inside Chernobyl, like in the exclusion zone. And he makes a map for me, like on a napkin. I have like an 80-mile trek through like war-torn Ukraine. And he tells me, he's like, you're gonna see refugees. There's gonna be camps set up. There's gonna be, like there's landmines. There might be active like war happening. So just be careful. I walk like 3 miles, and I'm just fucking beat. Like I'm just like not used to the terrain. It's really cold. I'm wearing like a brand new like North Face like like get up that I got at like Dick's Sporting Goods. It's just like all white. I'm wearing basketball shoes. Got like a nice stocking cap. I'm filming all of this live. The stocking cap is just like barely hanging on my head, and I'm filming most of this for my fans. I run into a group of refugees. Everyone's really sad and kind of fucked up looking. Like everyone's like a couple people that like clearly like had been shot, and like old women that can barely walk that are just kind of being carried along. And yeah, I'm just like, I've walked 4 miles at this point. I'm just like pretty fresh still, but I'm like already complaining about like my legs hurting and how thirsty I am. So I find this lady, and I tell her, like, ask her if she speaks English. She does. And I said, I'm doing a I'm just doing a little documentary on Yana Kovalchuk. And she's just like, okay, like, so what do you want? And I was like, you have any water? And she's like, yeah, yeah, we can find you some water. So she gives me water and a piece of bread. Um, the bread's not very good, so I just kind of just like, take a bite out of it, and I just pretend to finish the whole thing, and I just kind of crumble it up and just throw it into the grass. Just wasn't good. Um, so I hang out with them. They have like a fire going, and it's like 9 o'clock. It's like it's getting dark. Um, People are winding down, and I'm like, I'm drinking wine, pretty horny. I see a woman that's kind of attractive, and I go over there and sit by her, offer her a cigarette, and pour her like a little glass of wine. We just kind of chit chatting, and I try to kiss her, and she's just like, I'm married, this my husband's right there. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I have like a big erection. I was like, well, I'm gonna go in the woods and jack off. She's like, oh, okay. So I go into the woods and jack off, and gunfire just starts happening. There's just like hear like a grenade go off, and like all these shots are fired, and I just sort of run into the woods and lay down and just kind of hide out. I don't come because I'm just kind of scared, so I'm just laying there. So I don't really sleep. And then in the morning, I sort of get up and walk over there and see that like most of the people had been massacred. And there's one older woman that's okay, and I'm like, hey, how do I get to Chernobyl from here? I was like, I have no idea where I am. Like this, I was like, the guy drew me a map on a napkin. Like, I'm not equipped to do this. She's like the radiation's gonna get bad in the next like 4 miles. She's like, so just like be very careful, but you just go straight through these woods, and you're eventually gonna find it. I start coughing like pretty badly. I'm like, is that the radiation? She's like, I don't know. I don't think so. She's like, you're not. We're kind of far from it, but I mean, it could get bad. So I hope you have your mask. And I was like, mask? Like no one told me I needed a mask. And she's like, see if you can find one. So I kind of root around through these people's shit, and I don't find a mask. I find a Polaroid of this guy took of his wife's tits. I just take that and start walking. Um, Start walking straight through the woods. I'm like 40 miles from there at this point. And I just stop, and I still don't know where I am. So I stop, I jack off a little bit, and I can't come. Start coughing again, and there's like a little bit of blood in my hand. I'm just like, shit, must have like a really bad cold or something. Just keep going. Okay, so yeah, I walk another few miles, and I decide to just camp by myself. I'm I take off my clothes. I see this little like pond thing. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get cleaned up. So I take off my shirt, and I realize that I have like a little bit of shrapnel on my shoulder from the grenade. It's not too bad, and I just kind of like I grab some like moss by the river or by the pond, and I just kind of slam it on there and just pack it in. I just jack off into the water. Jack off into the water a little bit, and I'm just like, I guess I'll just sleep for the night and try to find it in the morning. So I just lay there, and I can tell it's getting like the radiation in the area is getting pretty bad. I can like it just smells poisonous, and so the next day I see her apartment building. I'm like, oh fuck, that's it. All my viewers are like, that's the place. And I asked people, I was like, do you guys know? Does anyone know like what floor she lived on? And no one knows. But one guy has like a photograph of Yana sitting on her couch, and there's like a poster on the wall of like this boy band. And he's like, if you find that poster, that's probably her place. So I go on I start from the first floor and I just work my way through it. It's like a 10-story building. There's like, fucking 30 apartments on each floor. So I just like quickly run through each one. I'm on like the 4th floor and I'm like kind of stumbling around. Really fucking sick at this point. And I go up to the next floor. I'm on the 5th floor. I walk into this place. I see the poster. Holy shit, this is it. I'm filming everything. I'm just like, hey guys, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. And I turn off my phone and I check my underpants, and there's just like liquid in there. And I think I'm like, oh, this must be pre-com. Like I've been jacking off this entire trip, but I've never actually like busted a nut. And it's just blood. So I realized that I've been like bleeding from my ass for the last 10 miles. I turn the camera back on. I'm like, hey guys, everything's cool. I just like gloss over it. I'm like, I think this is the spot. I hold up the photograph that the guy took of her apartment, and I'm like, this is it. There's like a chest of drawers like covered in spider webs, and it's like never been open. And I open it. There's like nothing in there, and I just keep opening all these drawers, and I just see nothing. It's all been like looted over. I go into a bedroom, and I walk across. I'm walking across to a room, and I feel this floorboard that's like sort of really squeaky and like loose. So I pull it up, and there's like 5 or 6 VHS tapes like stuffed in the floorboards. And I pull them out. I'm like, holy shit, guys, I think I found what I've been looking for. I hold it up and I cough really hard, and it's just all blood coming out. And one of my viewers is like, you're in the exclusion zone, like you should have like a mask on. They're like, go at least wrap some fabric around your face. Like, so I have like a mask in my bag, but I just decide like for the viewers, I'm gonna like find a pair of like her underwear. So I find this like early thong. It's like 1974, like just like early style thong. And I'm like, oh, how about this? I'm sort of laughing, and all my viewers are like, yeah, put it on. So I wrap it around my face, and I take like a deep breath, and my eyes like go back into my head, and I start stumbling around her apartment. I'm just bumping into shit. And I eventually pass out, and I die there.
You got that whiff though.
I got yeah. It's more important than the videos, I think.
Absolutely. Perfectly preserved in that radiation too. It's like as fresh as the day that they were worn.
The whiff.
You've always said you would go to the end of the earth for a whiff sometimes. I've heard you say
Yeah.
that.
Sure, why not?
Just one whiff.
When you start telling the story, I pictured you would get there and she wouldn't be dead; she'd just be some kind of like mutated freak.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And you do a POV porno with her.
This guy that you are in this doesn't really. He doesn't listen to anything.
He's like a South Florida porn star.
He just goes for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive.
Do you think he do you get the sense that he stands with Ukraine?
I get a sense that he didn't know that there was a war happening. Just kind of oblivious to where he is. Like he wasn't aware of Chernobyl at all.
He doesn't know what it is.
No, I mean he knows that people don't go there, but he doesn't know that it was a nuclear disaster.
Yeah. He thinks he's like going into the he thinks he's like going into the Amazon or something.
Yeah.
I was looking this person up. They're not real.
Yeah, I made up the name.
Yeah.
Did that name bring up anyone?
No. I was like, I'm probably spelling it. And I was like, what am I talking about? This isn't real. There's no way this is real. A porn star that died in Chernobyl.
I think it'd be cool to to go on an expedition in like the Sudanese jungle or something like that to try to find the pung that you're talking about.
Like
that
can
cure
cure
celiacs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've heard lore of just that the jungle and the rainforest holds all sorts of like mysteries and health benefits. So you go with it, like you find that there's this one region in like Brazil where there's just no celiac disease.
It's like it's like eating bread in America versus like France.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like one kind of makes you feel like shit, the other one supposedly doesn't. But I guarantee
I don't know. Maybe.
You're
just in a better mood when you're in another country.
That's what I think too. But I do think if there was more pung study, that they would find some cure in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just too much of a beautiful, intricate biosphere.
Yeah.
For there not to be some kind of untapped resources.
It hasn't been studied enough.
No. I mean, to Mike's point, it's just it's too horny.
I don't know. Look at Kirk Douglas. Wait, who's the son? Michael.
Oh, Michael. Yeah, he ate too much.
He ate too much from the bowl of woman, and he got throat cancer, not from smoke.
Yeah, that guy
Michael Douglas got
Doug.
throat cancer from pong.
Like he dug.
He ate way too much pussy.